Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the briefing for our first operational sortie within the Georgian area of operations. A reminder that this information is classified. Today is the 1st of September 2016. We arrived in country fine for all assets, and at the current time the 22nd Infantry Platoon is currently defending DZHIRA. Local intelligence as well as rivet joint and other intel methods have reasons to suspect that the GPLA is going to make a major push on the city of DZHIRA and possibly Sortie in the next 24 to 48 hours. 4 hogs are being assigned to provide CAS. Their primary objectives are to neutralise artillery that has been pounding the city for the last several hours from the mountains to the north. After which you are to police and destroy as many enemy units as ordnance currently permits. We will have AWACS and tanker support and F-15 escort in the air. The Rangers will have a FAC operating on the ground, as well as Georgian Mi-8 SA-32-2Ls and Mi-24 helicopters will be operating in the area. Our current rules of engagement allow us to attack anything to the west, north or east of the city primary that is on the ground. We are to remain on the Georgian side of the border, and at the current time there is no radar based defences detected that should affect us. In short, people, the Georgians are facing a shitstorm and we need to give them a hand. Our current area of operations is the northwest of Georgia, along the border of Apagaza. The area is immediately around DZHIRA and it is the forward edge of battle at the current time. Enemy artillery has been firing from GH-53 for the last several hours as mentioned. Our motherhood for today. Current fever, as again mentioned, is DZHIRA itself. At the current time, we maintain air superiority over Georgia. However, Russia has not yet committed any forces directly to aid the rebel insurgency. We do not know if this will continue now that we are on the scene. As it stands, Russia has made a number of inflammatory statements in regards to the border region and our presence here. Enemy artillery is known, as mentioned, to be positioned and firing from the northern section of grid GH-53. We believe they are supported by possible infrared manpads and the very real possibility of Zuni on flatbed AA. GPLA forces are also known to be using late Soviet era equipment, including BTR-80s, BMD-1s, BMP-1 and 2, T-55, Zu-23 and SA-9 Strelers. We also know that they've purchased a number of SA-9s and possibly Patriot Man portable anti-air defence units. At the current time, Russian air forces have been sending Su-27 and MiG-29 patrols over Apagaza out of Sortie. To date, they have not crossed the border into Georgia. Human intelligence suggests that their current loadouts are most likely R-60 and 27. Their ground control intercept radar and air defence network appears to be covering the region at the current time, and they have been very clear that any violation of their airspace by US military forces or Georgian military forces will result in possible lethal force being used. We again have human intelligence that suggests Russian forces have been stationed at Gudara for this purpose. Our current mission objectives are to launch immediately and provide close air support and battlefield interdiction in and around DZHIRA in support of the 22nd Infantry Battalion. We are to suppress or destroy the GPLA artillery. We are to destroy any GPLA forces attacking the city before recovering at Koboleti Airfield Base. The flights for this mission will be Hog 1, a flight of 4 A-10 Charlies, whom will marshal at rejoin, which is steer point 1, following a 0700 hour takeoff local time. All administration items for today's flight are standard. We will depart and turn north to rejoin at steer point 1. Our transit will be at 12,000 feet, and we will be maintaining 220 to 280 knots indicated airspeed, or as required to push on time. We will marshal between 12,000 and 15,000 feet. Our push time is 0715, and our anvil is 0830. We will return to base south from IP Banks. Hog 1 will, after pushing, travel 23 nautical miles north to IP Ada, remaining at or above 12,000 feet for the transit. On approaching the forward edge of battle, Hog 1 will check in with Dark Knight, the current Ranger FAC, on channel 30 FM for tasking. Hog 1 will prioritise the targeting of Red 4 SPH 2S3 self-propelled artillery believed to have been set up near steer point 4 and have been hammering the Georgian forces for the last 8 hours. After neutralisation of the artillery, Hog 1 will take tasking as situation allows and requires. Chevy 1, an flight of 2 SA-322Ls, is on station, currently supplying CAS, and is expected to anvil roughly at the time of our push. Georgians will also be launching Enfield 1 and Springfield 1. Enfield 1 is an MI-8 and will be supplying AFAC and Recon for the mission if required. They will be operating on channel 31. Springfield 1 is a flight of 2 Mi-24 Victor Hinds and will be conducting CAS for the Georgians in and around the FIBA. Ford 1 and Colt 1 will be escorting our tanker and AWACS. We will have Magic up supplying AWACS. They will be on UHF channel 251, and Shell will be supplying tanking as required as well on UHF 251. As you can see, our mission plan has us taking off from Koboleti and rejoining here. We'll then continue to the north, fencing in until we reach Ada, at which point we will have contacted our guys on the ground. Our primary objective is here, the artillery. We need to take this out. Enemy forces are believed to be attacking from these locations, and we are to help maintain the control of the city for as long as possible. It is quite possible that the city will fall. We are to remain on station until either a retreat is called by the majority of the forces in the city, which would be done on the loss of DZHIRA itself, or we no longer have any ordnance to aid in the defence of the city. At this point we are to egress to the south for a recovery at Cobblety via steer point 7. Our frequencies for this sortie are Magic and Texaco will be operating on UHF 251. Texaco's TACCAM will be on 10 X-ray. Hog 1 will operate on UHF 251. Ford, Colt and Chevy flights will be on 124. Dark Knight will be on 30 FM. Enfield 1 will be on 31 FM. Springfield and Enfield will also be operating on 127.5. Again, Cobblety is on 133.0. 67 X-ray and the ILS is 111.50, course 70. The alternate is Senkai Kolki on 132.0. 31 X-ray, its ILS is 108.90 on a course of 95. That is it for this briefing. Please direct any questions to your flight lead.